Yeah, have they always been there or just as COVID?
Bring this step back to reconvene from closed session we go into open session at 5:02. During closed session, the board unanimously voted to accept the suspension expulsion recommendation number 22 for student number 22-23-03-279-825-8962. Can I entertain a motion for the approval of minutes from last meeting dated 11/8/22?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
You have one abstention.
Oh, abstention.
Mr. Hillman.
Yeah, okay. So that'll be,
Got it.
4-0,
Okay.
abstention.
Does anybody have any questions or concerns on that? Okay. Business from the floor. The board meeting is a business meeting of the board held in a public forum to comply with the Brown Act. It is not a town hall meeting with the board. This is the time for citizens to present problems or questions they feel the board should discuss. Individuals are encouraged to address the full board, not individual board members. The law prohibits the board from taking action on items not on the agenda. In accordance with AB 261, signed and dated September 16th, 2021, the Barstow Unified School District will allow for remote participation at the upcoming regular board meeting on, what would that date be?
It's going to be January the 10th.
January 10th.
Tuesday, January 10th, 2023. General public will be permitted to attend the meeting within the boardroom, but may also submit public comments via email per protocols listed below. Deadline for submission of public comment will be 12 p.m. Tuesday, January 10th, 2023. If you'd like to submit public comment, please follow the protocols below. Identify the item you wish to comment on in your email message. If your comment does not apply to specific agenda item, write general public comment in the subject line of your email. Comments on consent, discussion, public hearing items, or general public comment will be accepted via email prior to the live open public session. Deadline for submission of public comment will be 12 p.m. on Tuesday, December 10th, 2023. Submit public comments via email to the Superintendent Senior Executive Assistant at Christina_Crane@busdk12.com. Each comment will be read aloud by a member of the staff as received and are subject to the 3-minute time limit, which is approximately 250 words. Comments received outside the comment period outlined above will not be read aloud and will not be reflected in the minutes. Do we have any emails?
We don't have any emails.
Do we have any public comment cards?
We do. We have one.
Okay.
It's Rosa Yorte.
This is from Rosa Iriarte. Purpose is to speak about STEM Academy environment. Hi, Rosa.
So I wrote it down, so I'm sorry if I'm not looking at you guys. I just wanted to make sure I had everything that I needed to say. So I'm here to speak on the climate that STEM Academy currently offers your students. I have 2 children who attend that school. My first child started in 5th grade and is in 8th grade now. She has been bullied the whole time at STEM, but the bullying became unbearable this past year. Sorry. She has had boys tell her to go kill herself and cut her wrist repeatedly. The school counselor called the crisis prevention team to the school as a resource for her due to the bullying by those kids. My second child is in 5th grade and has also experienced bullying and has seen many of her friends bullied to tears daily. Their environment has declined severely the past 2 years. I have not seen any accountability by the administration towards the bullies. My oldest sat in the principal's office months ago and told her how she feels like dying every day while she's at school because the bullying is so bad. She did nothing. The bullying continued. Now I am here to tell you it has led to some really bad situations for my daughter, who has succumbed to those words those bullies told her over and over again. She was taken out of school because the bullying has left your campus and continued on social media and even reached her junior high, where she participates in flags. I am here to ask you all to start looking into the school closer. I have, in the past 2 months, discovered that drugs are being sold at your school. Kids bring alcohol and drink it at school. And kids are doing drugs inside your classrooms while the school is in session. I've gone deep into this hole to see what else is going on in the school as a parent. What hasn't the administration done to save? My daughter said if you don't partake in activities that are bad or do what these boys say, they will keep bullying you. My question is, what are you guys gonna do? Nothing, or wait until a child does kill themselves? Or will you start changing the school environment ASAP? Every child deserves an environment that is safe while obtaining a public education. What accountability will be taken today and going forward for adults who have failed our children at these schools? I hope to hear from you and to start seeing some changes at STEM. Thank you.
Thank you. Reports, staff reports. Mr. Mann.
We have fiscal year 21-22 Williams annual report, and that's Mr. Guthrie.
Yes, as part of the annual review from San Diego County, we've got a letter from County Superintendent Ted Alejandre, and he has directed his team to review our district for our 3 decile 1 through 3 schools. That includes Barstow High School, Crestline Elementary, and Montero Elementary. The areas of review are instructional materials, facilities, teacher credentialing and assignments, and public reporting. In terms of instructional materials, we had 0 findings. As it relates to facilities, there were 16 findings, and this is for the school year 21-22, this is last school year. There were 16 facility findings at Barstow High School, 12 of which were remedied on the spot. The other 4 required work orders and follow-up, and all 4 of those were remedied at that time. There was 1 teacher misassignment at the time of the review. That was due in part to the fact that we had growing enrollment and we hired a teacher onto our staff that was not fully credentialed. I think the term is PIP or STIP, I'm not sure which one. Since then, that's been resolved, and we now have 0 findings.
Thank you. Board reports.
Oh, we have monthly cash report. We have 2 more reports to go.
You're right. Monthly cash report. Mr. Palin.
Thank you. Ms. Dibble, sorry, Ms. Swearingen, I apologize. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Sure. So the monthly county treasurer's report for December, specifically December 5, 2022, in the total amount of $42,314,264 for Barstow Unified School District is presented to the board as an information item.
Thank you. Monthly enrollment report, month 4. Mr. Malin.
Yes, Ms. Swearingen, please.
And a quick correction, Mr. Malin, if you can go to the second page. So on month 3, which is the month 3 column, the total for high school should actually be 1653, and the total in the district should actually be 6490. I think the 2 numbers got transposed when it was being processed. So currently at the elementary, we are down by 12 students, and at the high school, we are down by 22 students, or at the high school level, we are down by 22 students, for a total loss of 34 students in the district, and the enrollment report is presented to the board as an information item.
Thank you. Superintendent's report, Mr. Malin.
Yes, thank you, and let me refer to, first of all, welcome back everybody from Thanksgiving break. We have 1.5 weeks to go till winter break. I want to recognize and thank Mr. Akamura and our former board member, Mr. Rosenberg, for the gifts that are in front of you here for cabinet members and our board members. So thank you, Mr. Akamura. Thank you, Mr. Rosenberg. Appreciate that. At CSBA, we went through December 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Am I correct in those dates? We had all of our board members attend, which was fantastic. We had a really good time team building with Aaron, our new board member, accompanying us as well. Senior executive assistant was with us as well. Ms. Crane, thank you for your organizational support as well. We had great sessions, and it was announced that it was record attendance at the CSBA for their members at this point in time. So it appears that in-person is back in full swing again for CSBA. So thank you, everyone. I had a good team building time at that point. I'm excited about the modernization of Barstow Junior High School that is progressing. Construction to be completed January 31st with phased-in transition to the new campus, which will occur for the duration of the second semester until all the students and staff are back prior to the end of the 22-23 school year. Our winter sports are in full swing at Barstow High, Barstow Junior, and STEM. I appreciate Mr. Chavez, our PIO, for attending games and recording them and posting them on our Facebook page and Instagram. Thank you for that, Mr. Chavez. And as you see, we're doing well in soccer, doing well in basketball right now. So we're having a good winter season start. And my last comment is a week and a half and it's winter break. So everyone have a fantastic winter break. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Board reports. Ms. Clemmer.
I'd like to welcome our newest member and our returning members, and looking forward to all working together. Our conference was fantastic, probably the best one I've attended, and we owe a big thanks to Ms. Crane for her organizing everything the way she did. Everything just went really, really well. I want to thank Chris and Ben for the goodies, and wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thank you. Mr. Watson?
Same thing that Julie said.
You know.
Exactly.
Mr. Hildreth?
I'll third all the comments, but I just also wanted to just kind of address everybody, just say thank you for all the employees, thank you for everybody in the community, thank you for all the board members, just for giving me all the information, just helping me feel welcome, and I really appreciate everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Correa?
Well, I'm honored to be on the board for another term, and I really appreciate the fact that we have such a good team. And I did have a great experience at the conference. I felt we bonded real well, got a chance to meet Aaron real well. And again, welcome back, everybody, and hope everybody has a great holiday and Happy New Year.
Thank you. I too attended CSBA, and I concur with Ms. Clemmer. I think, at least for me, it was the best conference I've gone to. And I think, if I'm not corrected, in my 6 years, I think this is the first time all the board members went.
They had all five?
Yeah, I think so. So
It's been
It's been a while.
yeah. So it was really good. We did a lot of team building, which was great, thanks to Ms. Crane's super organization. You really outdid yourself. Everything was so organized and just easy to follow. It was great. And we had some really great keynote speakers, which I enjoyed quite a bit, and looking forward to more of these things. So thank you, and hope everybody has a good holiday season. Student representative report is not here. Representatives, BEA, Ms. Shealy.
Not as prepared as usual. First of all, I wanted to welcome Mr. Hildreth to be a part of the team. And so welcome, and you'll get used to me and my notes, and I'll probably annoy you, but hey, I've got it all written down. I can help you with that. Just to give you a quick little bit, my job is I'm the voice of our almost 300 members. So though it's one person standing up, you should always consider that it's 200 something people. When I report things, we are constantly asking input in our meetings with our people. We poll our members, and so the information we're coming, we try really hard to not make it one person's interest or a small group's interest. That's what BEA is all about. I didn't officially get to congratulate you on your new position, and you taught me how to say it, and it's swear engine. There's no at the end?
No,
Swear engine. Whew. As all of my students who have ever had me, they will tell you I'm awful with names, but just be supportive like they are, and it'll just take about a year for me to get it, and then I'll mess it up again. I always joke I'm lucky to remember my own sons, and I named him. So it's the names. I can remember your handwriting and everything, but not the names. It's one of those things. We've been busy with member engagement. This is the time of year that members are tired. It's a good thing that we get breaks so that we can recharge and we can be the best versions of ourselves for our students. So, and I've reported this before, and for the Thanksgiving break, we gave cards and gift cards to our members for the grocery store because the rising cost of goods are kind of hitting us hard as teachers, as CSEA as well. So we gave them gift cards to Stater Brothers. That went over really well. So Rep Council has voted for our winter holidays to do the same. We're doing a little bit of Del Taco in there as well because we like to support local businesses. We don't really do anything in January because we're all recovering from being tired. But we're looking in February for a family event. And we've been polling our members what they would like. We're looking at doing an event in Victorville because so many of our members carpool into, or commute, I guess is the better word, not carpool. Carpool would be good for the environment, go science. But they commute into Barstow. So we'd like to find a middle ground where we could get people in. So we're currently, we're polling people and it looks like bowling is currently winning. So we'll have a bowling night. We're looking at possibly renting out the entire facility for a couple of hours so that people can bring in their families, and we can just have a good time just celebrating, our camaraderie and trying to do what's best for students, and that's what we're all here for. So I'm excited about that. We do a pretty good job of taking our funds and making sure we give it back to our members. Other than that, we're looking forward to, like I said, the break. It's semester for secondary, so we're getting ready for grades. I'm busy taking many grades, trying to help students realize the importance of semester and stuff. Elementary is busy as well. They do a lot of events for parents. I know that we have, or families, I guess you would say, they have some winter festivals going on. They have some other things going on. Too busy to be an elementary teacher. I don't have the stamina, and I think I've reported that before. Like, I would never trade their jobs. They do an amazing job. They have talents that I don't. One thing I do want to have a conversation with is we have a little bit of concern with communication with staff. And today at Barstow High, before school started, right as school people were coming on, we had a lockdown in place. Staff was not informed at all. So we didn't know. And as union president, I started fielding phone calls, text messages, what's going on? What do we do? I've been turned away. What do we do? And so we were trying to communicate out as quickly as we could with BHS staff, or not, BHS staff that were on lockdown. I found out we were released from lockdown because students came on and they told me. And so I believe that when incidents happen, instead of focusing on, wow, it didn't go as well as we wanted to, I feel that there are always learning opportunities in that. And so this is one of those situations that we see an issue with staff getting communication. What's the best way we can do that? What can we do to come in as a team and BEA support the board and district officials to how can we communicate? How can we know staff? Because staff that got turned away, they were never told to return to campus. So I did my part. I talked to admin who were busy, right, because they're out doing what they need to do. And it was a team effort what we did at Barstow High. I thought that Barstow High admin team, they were down to 2 today, and they're supposed to have 4. I thought they did the best that they could do under those circumstances. I want to do a personal shout out to Miss Bree Vega, who might be one of the best hires Barstow Unified has ever done. She did an amazing job doing the best that she could, informing as many people as possible, and kind of like directing those of us who needed it. We got it out. We got it taken care of. I thought that the students that were on campus felt safe. I know that once staff was informed, which it came from an email from me with permission from admin, and then later admin followed up, that we felt a lot better. And, we're talking about how can we make these situations better because, as a community member said, our students deserve safety, we deserve safety, and together we'll figure out the best way to ensure that we're safe, that we're all safe, because we deserve that, to be educated and to work in that. So if you have any questions, feel free to talk to me, because I have lots to say about that, as usual. But thank you guys. If I don't see you guys outside of here, have a safe holiday break, and I'll see you all soon.
Thank you. CSEA, I don't see Ms. Gonzalez.
We do have, she sent me an email, a text message, so she couldn't be here this evening, so I will read this, if that's okay with the board.
Please do.
Good evening, Board of Trustees. I regret that I am unable to make it there in person, and this is from Renee Gonzalez, I just drew a blank. CSC is preparing for our last meeting of the calendar year this Thursday. We'll be voting on the E-Board members from the next term, 23-24, as well as the negotiation team members for their new term, 2023. We will also be celebrating the end of the year with some food and refreshments, along with some giveaways. We would like to say welcome to new trustee, Mr. Aaron Heldreth. We look forward to working with you. We would also like to say best wishes to Mr. Ben Rosenberg. Our members are looking forward to the upcoming winter break. I would like to say happy holidays to everyone. I hope that everyone is able to enjoy some time with family and friends, some relaxation, safe travels, and a healthy holiday season. See you in the new year. Sincerely, Renee Gonzalez, Barstow, Chapter 306, President.
Thank you. Personnel Commission, Ms. Dool.
Good evening, board members and guests. I hope everyone had a safe and enjoyable fall break, and we are all looking forward to the winter break. On November 10th, the Personnel Commission approved their 2021-2022 annual report. I've provided copies for all the board members, and as required by Ed Code, in the first meeting in December. So you have that. If you have any questions at any time, just email me. I'll gladly answer them. Also, we currently have 354 classified employees. We have 2 recruitments in the testing stage and 3 recruitments open. And I just want to again wish everyone a safe winter break coming up.
Thank you. Adoption of agenda. Now, we do have some changes, Mr. Malin, so what do we need to do in this
We
case?
do, just so I can announce them, we have a completed copy K21 in-service education, completed copy K6A2 employment of certificated substitute teachers, and a completed copy K6A7 resignation, retirement of certificated contract personnel. I'm sorry, one more, corrected copy K26 out-of-state field trip Barstow High School marching band and color guards.
All right, thank you. Any of the board members wish to pull any items?
Need a motion to adopt.
Okay, can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
So move.
Second. Okay. Anybody have anything that they want to pull? No? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Discussion items? No? What did I miss?
We need to do the presentation of recognitions first.
Presentations, recognitions, Mr. Malin.
Yes, I'm going to let Ms. Swearingen present this. I don't believe she's here this evening, but you go ahead and.
Okay, so we have a COC member, so the Citizens Oversight Committee, who has decided to resign from the committee and seek retirement and enjoyment of life. And so we have created a certificate for her. Would you like to read it out?
Sure. Certificate of appreciation. The following certificate is presented to Ms. Raynette Griever for her 3 years of dedicated service to the students and staff of Barstow Unified School District as a member of the Major F Citizens Oversight Committee, presented this 13th day of December 2022.
We have 2 members of the COC currently in the audience. So Marilyn Dyer Cruz and Marsha Wisma are out in the audience to honor Raynette. And so we just want to say, good luck to Mrs. Griever. We hope her best in her retirement. We will miss her on the COC. She always brought great information and great questions to the meetings. And we are happy to see her continue her life in retirement. So thank you. Thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Griever, for your service. Communications, Mr. Malin.
We have none this evening.
Consent agenda. Can I get a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Discussion items? Item number L41, purchase order listing 11/01/22 to 12/05/22, recommending the Board of Trustees approve the purchase orders listed in the attached purchase order board report totaling $1,585,779.40. Mr. Malin.
Yes, any questions a board member has for Ms. Swearingen?
I saw an item in there for like $600,000 for the junior high furniture. Is that all new furniture? I'm just kind of curious.
Yes, the junior high school is receiving all new furniture.
Good for them.
We're gonna come back to it. Let's go, we're considering.
Literally the whole school, yeah.
I think there was one item, as far as with the high school, with the graduation stage, as far as a rental. I didn't know if we had thought or kind of what the status is, I guess, or if we would ever have like just our own, or if it'll be like kind of an ongoing cost, like a continuing thing, or.
So this has been a discussion I've had with Dr. Jimenez and also with Mr. Banks in reference to leasing a stage as opposed to owning a stage, which we had previously, which deteriorated over time, which they do. And I've encouraged the high school to consider continuing rental of a stage because they can then rent the newest, greatest stage. This year, we're going to have the large television screens in addition to the stage. So if you're up in the bleachers, you can see on those video screens. And by leasing a stage as opposed to buying a stage, we have it for one night. They come out, they set it up. Their staff take the liability to set the stage up, to maintain the stage. They take it down. They accept all of that liability. The stage goes away. We no longer have to take up storage space. So I've encouraged the high school to continue leasing as opposed to purchasing a stage. So again, we can have the greatest for our students each year as they walk down that stage to graduate and receive their diploma.
I would imagine storage of that stage
Yeah.
would be immense.
I've heard a few.
Pretty rough.
Yeah, I've heard a few, especially trying to keep it together.
It's in sections, and those that have been a part of it, Mr. Godfrey knows the process of that whole thing, and it had its wear and tear. And I would agree with Ms. Swearingen that the best scenario is to get the latest and greatest every year, and to have the ability to broadcast this on 2 different screens in different directions would be fantastic for the audience as well. And plus, I think it's going to be live streamed as well. And so,
Yes.
yes,
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
you
Want to go?
need a motion.
Okay, can I get a motion? Second? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Item number L42, first interim report. Recommending the Board of Trustees approve the first interim report as of October 31st, 2022, and authorize the Board President to positively certify that the district will be able to meet its year-end financial obligations and obligations for 2 subsequent years. Mr. Malin.
Yes, Ms. Swearingen is going to present, I'm not sure if we have the right one here. Oh, it's right this one here, okay. A summary, I will say presentation of the 120-page document, whatever it is, that is a first interim report, this lengthy document here. But I will let Ms. Swearingen, and I will be the person who will run the slideshow here, so.
Okay, so the 2022-2023 first interim report is being presented to the board for approval. And thank you, Mr. Mayland. So because we have a new board member who is, this is his first fiscal report that he's going to, I'll go probably a little bit more in detail than normally, but I still will try to make it as brief as possible. So the first interim report covers our financial and budgetary status through the period ending October 31st, 2022. And then all budgetary information that you see is forecasting through June 30, 2023. And the multi-year projections that we are required to have, so current year and 2 following years will be 2022, 2023, our current fiscal year, 2023, 2024, and 2024, 2025. And then you'll also see district certification at the end, which we will be requesting positive certification. So the first slide I always have for the board is our revenue. And I always present 2 columns. So the first column, which if you're looking at the screen, would be the column on the left under fiscal year 2022-23 revised budget. Those are the numbers that have been revised since budget and before first interim. And then the 2022-2023 first interim report is what are the revised budget numbers once approved tonight with the board. So LCFF, local control funding formula is our revenue stream that we receive for our basic revenue coverage for our students as they're in seat. At budget, we were projecting 75,068,000 for revenue. We are currently projecting 79,792,000 for first interim. Federal revenue at budget, we were projecting 7,867,000 for revenue. We are currently projecting 44,725,000. The increase of 36.858 million is from all of the one-time categorical extra dollars that we were receiving based upon ESSER. And there's a list I actually attached another slide so you can see it as we get further along. All of the additional categorical dollars that we are receiving, we have accounted for those in first interim. They were not accounted for in the budget because we did not know what those numbers were. Plus we've had many additional dollars come in. So you will see a slide that will kind of illustrate all of those additional dollars that we are realizing at this point in time. Some of those dollars have expiration dates at the end of 2023. Some have expiration dates at the end of 2024. But we go ahead and we budget all of those dollars in the current year. And then when we present unaudited actuals at the end of the school year, then that's when you will see those dollars drop out based upon what dollars we used and what dollars we are carrying forward to the next budget cycle. And same with state revenue. At budget, we were projecting 7,819,000. And now with all the categorical dollars as well, we're projecting 28,017,000 dollars for first interim. Again, a lot of one-time, single-use dollars coming in. I'm sure all of you have been hearing on the news all of the additional dollars that have been coming in for schools. So this is where we are realizing all of those dollars. Some will get spent in 2022, 2023. Others will carry forward as we can based upon their expiration dates and based upon what we're using them for. I can let the board know a lot of capital facility projects. As you are aware, and most of the audience is aware, we have the wellness center that we are in the works with the architects on. We've also got a community track that we're talking about bringing back. We have shade structures. We have electronic message boards that we've been working on. We have new furniture at the junior high school. We have HVAC. So quite a bit of capital facilities projects that we have in the works for a lot of these dollars based upon the eligibility on COVID and how they can be spent. But you will see those come across as we move forward more and more with those projects. And then local revenue, that has not changed. We're still getting the same local revenue, 689,000. So at budget, we are projecting 91,435,000 in revenue, and we are currently at first interim 153,224, $153,224,000 dollars in revenue. After revenue, we always present expenditures, and kind of change the slides a little bit. Mr. Malin, I apologize for that. They're probably kind of. Yeah, maybe decrease it a little bit. That should catch it all. So, right there. Yeah, that'll work. Again, same columns, so you kind of can track where we're going with this. And we've got salaries, so certificated salaries would be for your teachers. At budget, projected 31,139,000. At first interim, we're projecting 30,041,000. A lot of that is due to the difference is due to much of the cleanup that we've been doing with positions, making sure we have a position control under control, and are moving forward with those processes. And then classified salaries was projected at 12,829,000 at budget. We are now projecting 12,863,000, so not too much of a difference there. Benefits at budget, 22,010,000 was projected, and we are now at 21,268,000. Again, not much of a difference. And books and supplies, 3,586,000 at budget, and 4,261,000 at first interim. Then services, 18,930,000 at budget, 20,086,000 at first interim. services are things like programs that we have contracts for, electrical, water, leases, that's where all those services fall under. Then capital outlay, these are the dollars that we're spending on projects, on facilities, maintaining those facilities. At budget, we were projecting $315,000 in expenditures, and now we're projecting $510,000 in expenditures. And then other outgo, this is where we're sending dollars to other funds to support the projects that are in other funds, the programs that are in other funds. So $1,830,000 at budget, and we're now at $2,199,000 at first interim. Indirect costs, these are the dollars that support some of the other programs, such as the nutrition services. We have some nutrition service workers sitting in our audience today, and some of those indirect costs go to them because there are services being provided that are paid for out of Fund 13 that should be supported by the district. So that's what those indirect costs are. And then we have a $2 million transfer out to Fund 40. You'll see this every year as we go by. This is actually for our repayment of our debt that we took out back in 2018. I think it was 2018.
Yes, for the Fine Arts Academy.
For the Fine Arts Academy, and the board approved a payback schedule to pay that debt back earlier, and by doing so, we moved $2 million into Fund 40 in order to support that repayment. We currently have a $1 million payment that goes out each year, and then at the end of, I believe it's going to be 8 years or 10 years, will be full repayment, so then that debt is off the books. And that was the plan that the board approved back in 2018. So total expenditures at budget was projected at $92,567,000, and now we are projecting $93,158,000 in expenditures. And then this is the components of the ending balance. And I did not make any changes to this slide, so I can, same thing again, Mr. Hildreth, this is the same columns, again, trying to keep track of what we're looking at. So total revenue did not change from the previous slide. Total expenditures did not change from the previous slides. So the same dollar figures that I presented the two previous slides. At budget, we were projecting deficit spending at $1,133,000. Now at first interim, we are not deficit spending because we have quite a few categorical dollars, that one-time dollars that we are spending and trying to decide how to make those expenditures. So we are currently now at $60,066,000, and contributions to the general fund. So at budget, the contribution was $16,276,000, is currently at $16,040,000. The contribution is from unrestricted revenue to restricted revenue to support programs that are in the restricted dollars that don't have enough dollars to support it. The largest program that encroaches onto the general fund is special education. And so that's where a large portion of those dollars go to, is to support the special education program. And at budget, we had a beginning balance of $34,804,000, ending balance at $33,671,000. At first interim, same beginning balance, that has not changed, but our ending balance is now at $94,870,000. And then this is the multi-year projection. So the budget has not changed, and first interim has not changed. I've already presented those numbers for you. But I did go ahead, because Mr. Hildreth is new to the board. I know Mr. Wilson is sort of new to the board as well, and trying to understand the components of the ending fund balance. School districts are different than privately owned businesses, where we actually have components of the fund balance that show what all those dollars are going to. So if you take that ending balance of $33,671,000 and then you break it into the components of where those dollars are sitting, that's where you can see actually how much money the district still has to actually available to spend. So we are required to have a 3% reserve for economic uncertainties, and it's 3% of our expenditures. So at budget, we were projecting $2,777,000 of reserve. The restricted balance, that $11,480,000, those are all those categorical dollars that we had. The ESSER, the GEAR, the expanded learning opportunities, grant, expanded learning opportunities program, educator effectiveness, all of those dollars that are out there for, yeah, well, it's coming up, yeah, this slide's coming up. We also have a committed balance. At the last budget cycle, the board approved committing some dollars into the committed balance. So we actually have $10,954,000 in committed. 5.4 million of that, I always remind the board of this. I don't want to lose track of it. Back in I believe it was 2018 as well, maybe it was 2019, the board approved moving $5,400,000 from Fund 17 into the general fund to cover cash flow. And those dollars are still sitting there. We've now moved them into committed balance, but they are still there. We've not lost track of them. And that left us an unassigned or unappropriated dollar figure of $8,210,000 at budget. That's the dollars that the district has left to do whatever else they need to do with for the year. And then at first interim, same makeup. So we'll get down to the actual 3% reserve for economic uncertainties. That's where we are at $2,795,000 now for our 3% reserve. Our restricted balance, here's where you see all of those categorical dollars. So it's actually sitting in restricted because those dollars have to be spent on a very specific way. They're not available to just hand out. So $65,469,000 is sitting in restricted balance. And you'll see that slide coming up here in a moment. And committed balance is now up to $21,200,000. This is a conversation I was having with Cabinet on Monday. Current board members or board members that were on the board back when we did budget cycle, you may recall me talking about the triggering of the cap that we went into the reserve, the state's reserve for rainy day. And by doing so, that also created an issue with supplemental and concentration dollars. And that's where the state came down and said, whatever dollar figures you have in your LCAP that you're receiving in supplemental and concentration dollars, so it's outside the base grant for LCFF, that those dollars must be used toward the students who generated those dollars based upon the language that's in the LCAP. Any dollars that are not used in that way roll over from year to year to year, creating them as a categorical as well. So what we've done is we've moved that dollar figure into the committed balance as well. That's why you see this increase from $10,954,000 to the $21,200,000 is because that rollover of supplemental and concentration dollars is going to require us coming together, so administrative staff working together to make sure that the dollars that are in the LCAP are also aligned with the expenditures in the account codes where they are sitting to make sure that we have those dollars accounted for. And again, it was a conversation we were having on Monday at Cabinet, and we're all very well aware that we need to meet and come together and figure out where all of those LCAP expenditures need to be in the budget, and we'll be making those changes as we meet and discuss those issues. So that's the change there, and I believe I've got a slide coming up that might show that. And I'm sorry, Mr. Malin, can you go back up just very, very quickly? Thank you. So I have the 23-24 and 24-25 multi-year projections here as well. Not a whole lot of significant differences, but you can see at the end of the 23-24, our unassigned unappropriated dollar figure is $3,412,000, and then at the end of 24-25, we've got an unassigned unappropriated dollar figure of $20,000. So you can see as the years go by, as we make those projections, Again, it's a 3-year projection. I don't know many individuals, let alone businesses, who are required to do a 3-year projection, but school districts are. It's difficult to project that far out, which is why we typically see our numbers decrease. I can also tell you that our ADA has fluctuated quite a bit, and you'll see a slide here in a moment. I believe the ADA for the 2 years out is going to come in at higher numbers, which will also adjust some of these numbers as well. But these are projections based upon our current year. Okay, and historicals. So here's that restricted detail. So these are all of the categorical dollars that we have now at our hand, that we are working instructional services, ed services, HR, PC, business services. We're all working on programs to make sure that we have plans in place to spend these categorical dollars. And again, a lot of these dollars have expiration dates out into other years. We're all well aware of those dollar figures, but I thought it would be extremely important for the board to see the changes to our budget. We had that $11,042,000 because these were the categorical dollars that we were recording at that time. Now at First Anne-Arundel, we have the full dollar figures of all of the categorical programs that we have out there that the district is eligible for, and many of these dollars we are using. And if you scroll up just a little bit, Mr. Naylor, you can see that $65,469,000. But these total $65,469,000. These are in restricted. Again, restricted fund balance. They are restricted dollars. They do require us to spend them on very specific things. They're not dollars available to just, kind of do whatever the district will have to do with them. They have specific language identified to them that we have to follow and plans in place. And then here are the assumptions that we use. I'll just go over first interim. They're very similar to budget, which is why I'll just go over the first interim column. Haven't really changed much. The LCFF calculator that we used was based on the FICMAT calculator version 23.2C, which is the most recent FICMAT calculator that we use in calculating our local control funding formula, the revenue dollars themselves. LCFF was funded at the 6.56% COLA. The 6.70% LCFF investment that the state made into the base grant for LCFF. And then also projecting 5.38% statutory COLA for 23-24 and 4.02% statutory COLA for 24-25. We are projecting flat enrollment for all 3 years as well, and we're using the state's eligible 3-year rolling average to project ADA. And our UPP, unduplicated people percentage, which is basically the number of students that we have that are socioeconomically disadvantaged, foster youth, English learners, and is at 76%. And that's down by about 2% from previous years. And then we've already talked about the $5.4 million for Plan 17. Here's where I show you at budget, the board approved moving into committed balance that $5,554,048, which is what we did. And then we have $10,245,952 projected of carryover from supplemental and concentration. That's the number that we're going to be working on. We believe that we actually have those expenditures in place. They're just not quite coded based upon the LCAP. So we will be working on that to make sure that gets resolved. Here is our ADA, and you can see for 22-23 enrollment, 6,464 students, and we're currently projecting P2 ADA at 6,024,000, and that ADA is based on a 93.2% ratio. We have been struggling with that ratio throughout the year, and this conversation I've been having with the management staff. So we continue to watch that projection because we are funded based upon the percent of time a student is in school, not the number of students we have in school. So, and then And you can see that 88.82% and 84.44% in 23, 24, 24, 25. I believe that percentage is low, and we'll end up adjusting that probably at second interim.
It's just a conservative.
It's conservative, yes, extremely conservative, because it's been fluctuating so much. And then certification, I am presenting the first interim to the board as a positive certification, which means we can meet all of our financial obligations. And then the next slide, Mr. Mayor. Other funds, here are the balances in all of our other funds. So Fund 8, student activity, has $53,000. Fund 11, adult education, $1,072,000. Child nutrition, $2,406,000. Fund 17, $1,578,000. Fund 21, $904,000. Fund 25, $442,000. Fund 35, $111,000, and Fund 40, this is that one where we are accumulating the dollars so we can pay back our debt. $6,391,000 is what is in that fund currently. And then I will certainly be happy to answer any questions.
What is our remaining debt on the fine arts? You know, kind of.
On the COP, it was a $15 million debt obligation.
We've been paying $1 million
We've been
a
paying-
year, about 5 years.
I'm
Plus
gonna say-
interest.
Julia's probably in the 11, depending on the interest, the interest rate. It's probably close to $11 million at this point. Maybe a little lower.
Probably, yeah, I was thinking somewhere probably around 10 million. I haven't looked at it recently. And then we have, and I haven't looked at the language of the COP, but you cannot pay it back until a certain time. That's based on the language of the COP, and that's what we're,
That's why you're saving it up.
Before
instead
you're,
of paying
yeah,
it.
exactly, a certain time frame.
You cannot pay it off early. It's in the language of the COP that it can be, the earliest you can pay it off is at this point in time, and I don't know what that point in time is, but it's years down the road. And you all approved paying that off as soon as that opportunity occurs.
With all of the restricted detail on that slide and all of our one-time use dollars, are those all like general projections right now, or has that already been inputted into the budget and slotted and?
So those dollar figures are what we receive from the CDE, California Department of Education. They do change as the CDE changes whatever the budgetary numbers are. We do get updated numbers, and so we will see those change. Sometimes they go up, sometimes they go down. It just is based upon the language of the legislature and what they're doing with the dollars, as well as what the CDE has and what their projections are. And then the reason why we have so much in the restricted fund balance is because we have not necessarily budgeted all those items as expenditures. It's showing us the dollars coming in, but we don't have the full plans in place for expending all those dollars, which is why you see such a large restricted fund balance, is because those dollars are not currently in the budget as being spent, because we have so many different plans that we're working on. Again, majority of those dollars are going to go to capital projects that we're working on.
Questions? Thank you for another great report. Can I get a motion to accept the first interim report?
So move.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Items for future board meeting. Anybody have anything they'd like to discuss for future meeting? Nobody? Do we need to go back to closed session?
Not for anything very more.
It is 5:55 and closes out. Thank you, everybody. Signatures and money.